I am Usanko from SpiritSwap, and we are with Vibin from Stader Labs, a 1 billion TVL protocol from Terra for their upcoming Fantom launch. Before we move on to your specifics in Fantom, how did you manage to succeed this much in Terra? What strategies did you choose to achieve this TVL?
That's a great question, Usanko. Thanks for that. So I'll just maybe start a little bit from my experience as well, right? So one of the roles I've done, Usanko, I've done multiple leadership roles as well in tech startups. And one of the roles I played was actually leading customer experience for a food delivery DecoCon in India, actually, right? And one of the things I noticed and I learned from that role is to be strongly community backward, strongly user backward in everything that you do, right? In order to truly differentiate yourself, you need to understand what consumers want, what the community actually wants, and build for them. And I would say one of the things that the team has been able to do very well on Terra actually is listen to the community. They took about 2-3 months just understanding the pain points and the use cases that the community and the users would want solved. And then they started building actually Usanko, which is why they've been able to, within 5 months of launch, the TVL is so good because we've been able to sharply understand what users actually want.
Regarding that point, I am really curious about it because I see so many projects just miss the mark when it comes to listening to community. How did you manage to did you have some focus groups in community, or did you open a Discord channel where you invited people with knowledge for them to look at the beta or something? How did you do that?
Oh yeah, 100%, Usanko. Firstly, we ensured that we built large communities on wherever the users where we went there, right? So on Twitter, for example, our Stader Labs community is about 60,000 people strong, right? On Discord, again, we built a large community of 3,000 plus people, and same on Telegram as well, right? So we built these large communities across all of these, and we did very detailed beta testings with them, Usanko, absolutely. And in fact, I'll give you an example, right? When we were building for Fantom, staking on Fantom is quite interesting. So one of the things we did even before we got to beta, which we're going to start in a couple of days on Fantom, right? What we did, Usanko actually went with the design, spoke to a bunch of people, right? So we were able to take the foundation help, reached out to about 15 people who are well-versed with both DeFi and staking, got feedback from them on what the design is that could work really well. And that's kind of what we do, Usanko, right? So at every step, we try and incorporate community feedback and also build a strong community where we can keep hearing from them. So that's what the team did on Terra, actually, Usanko. Number two, the other couple of things, Usanko, that we are very clear about is obviously there are three stakeholders in the ecosystem, right? There's the network itself, the blockchain itself, right? So we try and work very closely with the foundations, understand what are the key priorities for them, how is decentralization important for them, and how we can enable and play a small part in that journey from our side.
Yeah.
So that's one. And the other thing we also do, Usanko, is kind of work deeply with validators, understand what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and understand all the data around safety of validators, find safe, high-performing validators, build deep relationships with them as well, so that we can enable higher decentralization. So we work with all three stakeholders, Usanko.
Yeah, great. So, as per your success in Terra, what made you come to Fantom? Then weren't you I see your Terra ecosystem has been a great success, as you said, in 5 quick months. You have been achieving a lot of good stuff, but why are you expanding to Fantom?
Yeah, so from the very beginning, Usanko, that we were clear that while we started with one blockchain, that we wanted to help decentralize most POS blockchains, right? So we want to be on as many proof of stake blockchains as possible and help on build great functionality on top of the native staking contracts, Usanko, right? So that was one. We had the vision of actually going multi-chain. And when we are thinking about where to expand, right? Obviously, Fantom stood out for us, right? If some of you follow us on Twitter, you will know how bullish we are on Fantom. So we are strong believers in the unique tech and the thriving DeFi ecosystem that is there on Fantom, right? Plus, on top of that, on top of everything, actually, Usanko, it's the amazing community, right? And when I say community, it includes actually everyone, right? From the users, the active community, to key community leaders, to actually the protocols and the devs, right? So everyone we have spoken to, they're all super collaborative, right? You get this sense of people building something special together and believing in a long-term vision. So we are very happy to be a part of that, Usanko. So essentially, the thriving DeFi ecosystem, the amazing community, and of course, the unique tech that Fantom has, which makes transactions super fast and cheap, which is absolutely the need of the hour, in our opinion. So that's kind of why we were just waiting to get to Fantom, and we've been building now for the last couple of months.
Yeah, great. Also, like as you said, like staking in Fantom helps Fantom also with proof of staking, helping the network be more secure, and actually, like with the transactions increase, the network becomes faster as per Fantom's unique technology, as you mentioned, and it's like both of the parties benefit from this.
Right, absolutely, Usanko, right? And we have been, for example, while we've been trying to talk to users as well, we've also been speaking to the foundation and saw how, for example, with the fantastic DeFi ecosystem that Fantom has, right? How liquid staking could be a great solution, right? On Terra, for example, we started with our plain staking solves, which just enable safe, simplified staking. There was no liquid token. We launched liquid token as the second product on Terra. But here, after speaking to the foundation and listening to the community, we found that liquid token was a great fit. So we started with that, Usanko. Secondly, like you said, like for many other networks, decentralization is a core theme for Fantom as well. And with the top validators here also hold a large percentage of the delegations, right? So we want to do a small part to enable more delegations to some of the smaller, safe, high-performing validators as well.
Yeah. Great. Great. Dan, let me ask you this because like I've seen some questions about it in the community, and I was going to answer as well. Like, will you follow the same roadmap and strategy as per like your actions in Terra, or will you again like listen to community and like develop in a different way that looks out for Fantom's needs also?
Oh, 100%, Usanko. Like I mentioned, we've already made a change to how we kind of approached and the roadmap we had on Terra, right? We've launched with Liquid Token first because that was the need that we heard in Fantom. And we're absolutely open to that, actually, Usanko, right? We have multiple products we have built out on Terra. We'll be happy to hear from the community on what's interesting amongst those. If there are other things that could be more interesting, we'll obviously build with Fantom first in mind, right? So the idea is not to build port over what we already have, but to also listen actively, and whatever is the right solution for Fantom is what we will build.
Yeah, so like let's talk about what your protocol does actually. What do you mean by liquid staking for people that are not very familiar with how that works?
Absolutely, Usanko. I think most of the audience would be familiar with staking itself, where basically they delegate to validators to help secure the network. And in return for helping secure the network, people actually get rewards in return, right, for helping secure the network. So that's how staking works. So one of the things that happens with staking Usanko is actually that the tokens get locked, right? And therefore, when people are participating in staking, they're not able to participate in other opportunities. Right. So what we are trying to do with liquid staking actually is that when people stake via Stader, we'll give them, we'll mint a token for them, which is sFTMx, that they will receive from us, which represents their staked Fantom. Right now, with this token, they'll continue to earn the staking rewards, but will now be able to take the sFTMx token and use it across the DeFi ecosystem, as if they had the Fantom with them, right? Because it represents the fact that they've staked, and therefore, we'll be able to enable use of the sFTMx token across the DeFi ecosystem. So in short, that's what liquid staking actually means, Usanko, and that's what we are building for.
So regarding sFTMx, just to reiterate, like you guys take Fantom and like have a 1-for-1 basically, like which a formula, like if anyone interested can look at the docs, increases in value compared to Fantom. Because you guys you are staking, Also, like how will you, like, as I read your docs, there was like a free LP for sFTMx and FTM, right?
Yes, that's correct, Usanko. I'll just expand on that. Like you said, right? I think what we are doing for Fantom community is that today, for you to get the highest rewards on staking, you will have to lock up for at least a year. That's when you get close to the 14% kind of APR. But what we are able to do, Usanko, is actually stake for the entire year, but in turn provide liquidity options for the users, right? So we'll be able to do that in three ways. One, we'll partner with the likes of Spirit, right? So we are in conversations, like you would be aware, to have a liquidity pool set up, right, for sFTMx, FTM, so people can exit their position with no delays right away on the DEXs, right, from the liquidity pools. So that's number one. So therefore, they get the highest rewards possible, but with the flexibility to exit their sFTMx position if required, right? And always there are people who are interested in holding Fantom long and interested in getting staking rewards on top. So there'll be good outcomes possible for them on the DEXs. That's number one, Usanko, right? The second thing we also enable is make possible a free pool for users. Essentially, we just briefly hold all the inflows that we are getting. So we can match some of the outflow requests from users with some of the inflow requests we are getting, and thereby enable them to actually get free liquidity as well, Usanko, right? Because otherwise we'll have to unstake and break the lockup that we have done with the native staking contract. But with this free pool, what we will be able to do is take mature funds as well as the inflows that we're getting, hold it for a brief period of time without hurting the returns too much, and give people an opportunity to exit in a free manner, Usanko.
How much does it to exit? Like, as you said, we hold it for a brief period. What sort of period are you talking about? Days, weeks?
Yes. So what we do, Usanko, is we hold all inflows. So every 10 days we stake into the contract. Both maturities and inflows will be staked once every 10 days to begin with. So this is something we can configure, right? And it's a variable that we'll optimize as we see the flows better, right? We'll be able to make it more capital efficient. But to begin with, we'll start with a 10-day period for which we hold it for people who want to get liquidity to exit their positions if required.
Yeah. So, like, a question I have to ask, maybe it's a difficult question to answer on the spot. Like, as you know, maybe you have looked SpiritSwap up as well. We have in Spirit and wrapped in Spirit tokens, right? Where protocols adapt to like having an own protocol in Spirit token, where they like use it in different sort of ways, like Beefy Finance, Scarab, Liquid. Each has one.
Right.
So like my question is like there is an LP, there is a chance to lose peg, as most of our like current WinSpirit protocols have done so. Like, how will the peg in quotation marks of sFTMx versus FTM stand if there is a liquidity pair for people to sell?
That's a very relevant question, Usanko. Thanks for asking that. So essentially, Usanko, unlike many other pegs, we are depending primarily on the staking rewards, and they keep accruing, right? And there is a small arbitrage that might exist between the liquidity pool on DEXs and minting directly on Stader, for example. But we expect it to be very small, Usanko, because the rewards we have, right, keep accruing into the contract. So there are only so many sFTMXs minted at any point in time. And all the FTM we have in the staking contracts actually belong to the sFTMX that have been minted, right? Yeah. So the value comes directly from the staking rewards that the native Fantom protocol provides, and therefore is less risky, right? And we have slashing events that could happen, but they are very infrequent. And we also kind of choose the validators very, very carefully to minimize any chances of that kind of an event happening, right? So if you look at it, the value of sFTMX actually going above Fantom and slowly kind of keep on increasing is because we get actual Fantom delivered directly by the Fantom staking contract to us. And that's where the value of it comes from, right? So it's actually backed by the Fantom we receive on the stake contract to Usanko. So that's what makes it secure. And because it's a native Fantom staking contract, there are no large deviations expected there in terms of the emissions and the rewards we'll get there.
So, like you have been, as I said, really successful in Terra and using this technology per se, like liquid staking, to enable many things in DeFi. Do you have like some ideas, some protocols you have partnered with, some like new like horizons basically for like FTM specifically in terms of liquid staking? Like, where do you see sFTMx being used?
Oh, absolutely, Usanko. So the way we think about this, Usanko, is we are almost imagining a future where when people want to hold FTM, they can directly hold sFTMx. Now, the good thing about that is then what we are doing is most of the circulating supply will actually help secure the network, which makes it even harder for any kind of malicious intent to actually happen, right? So that makes the network even more secure. So that's one thing that we want, right? So that's great for the ecosystem, number one. It's great for the community because everyone now gets staking rewards on top of their FTM, right? So when they are long-term believers in Fantom, instead of just holding Fantom, they can hold sFTMx, help secure the network, and get staking rewards on top, actually, Usanko. Number three, when it comes to the utility of sFTMx, right? Our vision is for it to be as widely useful as the native Fantom token itself, right? Because it is directly built and it's a derivative token on top of Fantom, and it derives the only additional value from the Fantom native staking contracts. So we expect it to be fully usable across multiple types of protocols, Usanko. To give you an example, the type of protocols we are in chat with is obviously DEXs like SpiritSwap and a few others as well. Number one. Number two, we are talking to lending borrowing protocols as well. And we have a few where we've had good conversations. We are also setting up a Chainlink price feed right after the LP pools go live on Spirit, for example. Right. So that will help use sFTMx as collateral in all the lending borrowing protocols. Number three, we are also talking to yield aggregators, Usanko. Right. That's just the first three type of protocols we are talking to. Obviously, we are also going to next talk to leverage yield farming protocols, let's say like a Tarot or an Alpha Homora, right? Or auto compounders like Liquid Driver, right? Etc. Reaper. So all of those possibilities will open up Usanko, right? So ranging from DEXs like Spirit to lending borrowing protocols like Scream or Creditum to actually the likes of Yearn Finance to auto compounders like Reaper, leverage yield farmers like Taro. So we want widespread usability of the token Usanko, and so far it's been great conversations, and we expect sFTMx to be as widely usable as FTM itself, and then thereby bring alive the dream of all DeFi possibilities plus a nice staking reward on top for everyone.
Yeah, like easy 10% or whatever the staking rewards
exactly.
are. Yeah.
Correct. Do all of the DeFi strategies enable plus 10%, 14% on top.
Yeah. So like this is quite like amazing to hear. This is like collateral, like, but you get 1-for-1 and you can use it like anywhere. Like this would be huge if it like get adapted by all DEXs, other protocols like yield aggregators, auto compounders, Stader protocols, etc., etc. But like as I said, like it would be like a booming opportunity. But there, like, is everyone's question in mind is safety, right? Because like if everyone will adapt sFTMx and like put their FTM, like what sort of safety measures did you take?
That's a great question and very relevant question, Usanko, right? Given some of the stuff we keep hearing as well. Safety is super paramount for us at Stader Usanko, right? And for each of our products, we actually do multiple audits. Just to give you an example, on Terra, we have done 3 audits with top firms just for our liquid token Luna X. Now, on Fantom, for example, similarly, we are kind of already in audits with a couple of top firms, and we'll continue to have more come in as well. That's one. Number 2, we are working with a very experienced tech team, Usanko. We've been in the space for quite a while, including this whole project being led by our CTO, Sid, who I spoke about a little earlier. And we are trying to bring all of the experience that we have from managing the close to $1 billion of TVL on Terra and all the things that we were able to do there and keep building and kind of keep increasing the level of security as well, Usanko, right? So the team as well as the number of audits, so audits are ongoing already and so far looks great, and we'll continue to do that. Number 3, Usanko, as soon as we go live, we'll also look to bring on a great partner for bug bounties as well, right? To ensure the safety of the protocol. So that's in the works as well, Usanko.
Yeah, so like you have been taking many steps regarding safety, as I can see. So will you like limit yourselves to Fantom, like native token of a chain, basically? Like if you go to Solana, it's Sol token. If you go to ETH Ethereum, it's ETH. Or will you like have other tokens that you will allow staking in the future, or will it be just the native token of the network?
Currently, our idea is to kind of do the native token Usanko, given the widespread applicability and the safety of these of the native staking contract as well, right? So that allows us to kind of build something safe, super convenient, and rewarding for users. So that's the first opportunity, Usanko, and we have like a lot of possibilities on top. So we're starting with that, but never say never, right? So hopefully in the future, we'll be able to work closely with protocols and provide staking as a service as well. But the first focus is to build this out for native contracts first.
Yeah. So like you will launch Liquidity Pools, will you start with only sFTMx FTM, or will you have sFTMx USDC in DEXs, or will it only be like paired to FTM?
Yeah. So to begin with, Usanko, we are going to definitely have sFTMx FTM as the primary liquidity pool. We would potentially have one liquidity pool with USDC as well, but we are just exploring that. But even if it's not directly at launch, we'll immediately follow that very quickly. Just to give you an example, Usanko, many of the possibilities we spoke about, these are some of the things that we've been able to replicate on Terra, and we are confident with the kind of collaborative ecosystem we have on Fantom that we'll be able to absolutely build out that and more. We have about $100 million of liquidity for the Luna X pair on Terra, for example. We want to bring definitely high liquidity for the sFTMx token so that everyone can feel confident about the token.
Yeah. One more question regarding like the differences between FTM and Terra. Do you have any specific things beyond like having usable liquid staking in Terra? Do you have any other strategies that is going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that could be very interesting for the community here, and I would love to hear feedback from them, even one-on-one data, is we are just getting into a beta launch today, Usanko, of something we call degen walls on Terra. Essentially, what we have done is we have taken our liquid staking token and launched with a specific strategy, right? So we are working with a DAO there to build a great DeFi strategy using Luna X, right? And we are starting with that as an opportunity for people to do a single-click choice of earning yield from that vault, right? So they'll continue to get the staking rewards, but also have like the DeFi strategy kind of directly flow through to them as reward, right? So that's something that could be very interesting given the DeFi ecosystem on Fantom, right? Where we could imagine like vaults that we could deploy on top of sFTMx that could execute multiple strategies, right? For example, we could have one strategy where sFTMx is used as collateral. We borrow FTM, right? And then we could use the FTM to stake back, for example, right? And get sFTMx and do it to the level that is the right level of leverage, for example.
Yeah, right? It's looping, right? Looping for leverage.
Correct, exactly.
Yeah, you get it back and you stake it back, get it back, stake it back, etc.
Correct. And for example, Usanko, let's take like a sFTMx FTM liquidity pool that we could have on Spirit, for example, right? We could then go to Taro because the impermanent loss between sFTMx and FTM is so low, right? Because sFTMx basically gets at a predictable rate returns in native FTM token, right? So essentially, both the rewards as well as the base capital is in Fantom, and it's at a a prescribed rate, which is kind of linked to the staking contract rewards. So there's very little difference that happens, right? So there's very little uncorrelated movements that will happen. So impermanent loss is very low. So what that allows us to do, Usanko, is take the liquidity pool and take leverage, for example, on a protocol called like Tarot, and kind of get 3x the liquidity pool reward, for example, right? So there are multiple possibilities like that we could do.
Yeah. Regarding your possible future LP pool in SpiritSwap, do you intend on like I don't want to like force your hand too much, but do you intend on like if you know we are like the boosted farms have like bribes set up to it where protocols give like incentives to in-spirit holders to vote for their LP pair for them to get boosted returns. Do you have like something in mind regarding that when you launch that LP pair?
Yeah, Usanko, I think we are figuring out the exact shape and form and getting feedback from the SpiritSwap team as well. But absolutely expect some juicy rewards on SpiritSwap, right? Absolutely. So we want to ensure that the liquidity pool has high liquidity. So we want to ensure that people who are staking with us get high rewards, right? So we will absolutely have some juicy information shared very soon, Usanko, but we will have rewards. Yes.
By the way, an announcement to community, we are mentioning bribes and like rewards. What this means is like if you have in Spirit, you have to vote for gauges that offer bribes each week for your like in Spirit voting to get rewarded. This also like applies to some wrapped in Spirit protocols that have some bribing power intact. If you don't have in Spirit, just check out the Medium. And like as they said, Vibin said, Stader is coming in hot with bribes after their launch, possibly most likely. So I'd suggest not to miss out on that. Okay, I plugged it in. Now back to the AMA.
Thanks for that.
I'll try to check like if we are missing any community questions. Because like there has been a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you want me to take a few, Sanku, that I had kind of picked out as well earlier? I was just going through all the questions.
Yeah, you can if you want. Yeah.
Sure, perfect. I think there was one. I think, Jackson, thanks for your question. I think there were a bunch of them. While I won't go into all of them, I'll happily kind of reply to all of your questions. I'll pick up one of the questions that you had, which was relevant to liquidity pools as well, in terms of more about the initial depth and the models.
Yeah.
We are aiming for very high depth liquidity pools. Jack, I won't go for an exact number, but easily in the tens of millions of dollars is the kind of liquidity we want to ensure for a community as large as Fantoms and the ecosystem that we have. We want to have a very strong, large liquidity pool depth to begin with. And in terms of the models, we are exploring both 50-50 and meta-stable pools to begin with, Jack. And it'll be, in some sense, naturally boosted because half of the tokens will continue to get sFTMx rewards, but it's not technically the boosted beyond the part that Usanko was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think another question was from Gavin, where he was asking about the risk of impermanent loss, which is very prevalent for liquidity providers. Yeah. How will Stader help to mitigate the risk of impermanent loss? I think the good thing about the sFTMx FTM pair, right, is that these assets are so closely related, right? sFTMx builds on a very predictable staking rewards rate on top of Fantom, and the rewards are also in Fantom, so it's very closely tied to Fantom price movements. So these two tokens don't have high impermanent loss at all. So that's one more great thing about the sFTMx FTM pair. So I hope that answers your question, Gavin.
Yeah, like if this works, like I know it worked on Terra and hopefully it will work on Fantom. I don't see why not. Like it will be like a big like incentive for people to breach their tokens to Fantom, and like because there is like as you said when answering the question, impermanent loss in LP pairs is like a big deal, and like if you stake the Fantom, the returns are usually not much compared to like using the DeFi like opportunities that are going by, like as you said, and like being able to use both and also being able to stake FTM meanwhile like will be game changer for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, Usanko. We are very much looking forward to what the community can do with the sFTMx token, right? So while we have imagined a few possibilities, all we are going to do is kind of set up the partnerships and see the community come up with multiple strategies to leverage this. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, also like it's like as you said, like letting people do their own things is better also. Like we have like wrapped in spirits, like we let the protocols do their own use cases, etc. Like it
Yeah,
provides competitiveness and growth. Like I am happy that you guys are like not forcing partners to do like this and that, and like letting them run free with your like sFTMx and do whatever basically.
absolutely, Usanko. Absolutely. That way, we've taken a leaf out of the spirit book. Thanks for leading the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, another question that came in was about, I think this is from Camps, which is around Fantom having a few exploits recently. Do you see a need for your contracts to be re-audited on the new chain? So we spoke a little bit about some of the other measures. I'll just kind of clarify this also, Camps. We are absolutely auditing our specific liquid token on Fantom, right? So we are having a couple of audits that are ongoing with top firms, specifically for what we are deploying on Fantom, yes.
Yeah. Also, one more question I like thought of when you are answering community questions. Like, will you use the like Phantoms pooled for like opening a validator node, or will you just stake them and get rewards?
Yeah. So Usanko, if I understood you correctly, you wanted to understand how we choose validators and whether we are a validator ourselves.
Yeah.
So currently, we don't operate our own validator nodes, Usanko. So we work with a set of partners that we determine with a clear set of published criteria, which, for example, for Fantom also we'll publish very soon, and the whole community will be able to see the criteria we are using. And we also pass it through some of the key people in the community, including the foundation, to ensure that we are covering all the right set of criteria to choose validators. And we go with a chosen curated pool of validators, Usanko, right? Yeah. And we don't run our own nodes today.
Yeah, but will there be a world like, do you have access to like sFTMx, like FTM staked, so that you can pull it together like a treasury in most of the DAO protocols, where you like use the treasury in quotation marks to like do something with that will benefit the community in the long run? Like, do you see yourselves like using like doing a vote with the community to use some of the staked FTM, like 5%, like etc., to open a validator node on your own, or like will you like not risk it and always have like 1-to-1 backed sFTMx FTM pair?
Yeah, and just to clarify, Usanko, essentially it won't be 1-to-1. The FTMX will continue to go up in value compared to Fantom because correct, because of the staking rewards, right? But we want to give back all the rewards to the community first, Usanko. Having said that, right, which is to the users, because we want to ensure that the staking rewards flow through to them. Having said that, Usanko, one of the things that we will do is like our own tokens will have revenue shares flowing through to SG token holders. And that's something we'll enable across on Fantom as well soon, right? We've started on Terra. We're building something which would be ERC20, which will allow us to go cross-chain, right? So we'll have SD tokens that flow through in the Fantom ecosystem as well as rewards, right? Whether in terms of incentives for liquidity pools or otherwise, there'll be SD tokens that will flow through. And that will also give the community a share of the protocol revenues in the future, right? As well as kind of decide and help make governance calls, where we go next, for example, and how we kind of choose to spend our resources. All of those is what we will be able to do, Usanko, with the SD token.
Yeah, what are the protocol fees, by the way? A quick question.
Yeah, So the APY we have shared, Usanko, is actually after taking the protocol fees. So we charge 10% of the rewards made, Usanko, right? It's not the
reward.
base capital.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only on the staking rewards that we charge at 10%, right?
Yeah, good to know. Like people are often like scared to put in their capital if they are charged with money in the, like as you said, the base money. So like doing it with the rewards is like the better choice in my opinion.
No, thanks, Ukan. Yeah, absolutely, Usanko, right? We want to ensure that our incentives are aligned fully with the community's incentives. So we'll make money when actually the community makes money and gets a lot of rewards, right? We'll continue to optimize for rewards, therefore everyone is kind of aligned to Usanko. That's the objective.
Yeah. So you will have your own tokens, right? In Fantom for governance as well.
Yes, this will be cross-chain governance Usanko, and ST tokens will flow. Of course, it will be a cross-chain token that we'll set up, right? And we'll probably have more details as we launch on Fantom as well, right? So it will be a cross-chain protocol. Our SD token is also already publicly listed on a few centralized exchanges as well, like Joby Global, OKX, BitGet, Gate.io, etc. Right? So people will have access to all those opportunities as well.
Yeah. So a question I might have is like, do you see some like future where you can bridge like staked like sFTMx where you get and bridge it to like another network where you get the equivalent amount of like whatever S Terra or S Sol, for example?
Oh, absolutely, Usanko. This is something that we could do in the future based on the interest in the community. One of the things we are even imagining, Usanko, is we could actually have an index of all our staked assets. So, for example, we could have LunaX, sFTMx, SolX, right? MaticX, for example. All of them kind of coming together in an index, and therefore people can have exposure to all of these networks while continuing to earn staking rewards on top.
Yeah, like I could see that being beneficial as to like people trying to experiment with other bridges. Like it could be an easy way to like not like hassle and like directly like convert their crypto to like another network and get that network's native currency, like the S staked version of it, and use it directly in like to test the waters.
Oh, absolutely, Sango. That's a great idea. Yeah, we will be enabling that in the future. Yes.
Yeah. Like you have so many like I can't wait for it to launch so I can like put my FTM to use. I am like holding them because like I'm afraid of impermanent loss. Like I am not holding 100% in the wallet, but there is a portion of it like staying doing nothing. And I don't trust myself with lending and borrowing because like I can borrow and liquidate myself. So like I can't wait for this to launch on Fantom also. I might even like test it on Terra. You might
lovely.
force me to open a like Terra network wallet. I have never used it, but
yeah, and we are kind of waiting for you to use your Fantom on and get sFTMx Usanko, right? I think the idea is that everyone holds Fantom, of course, in their portfolio, and this is a great way to kind of have it available for all the DeFi opportunities that they would like, right? Even do and also earn staking rewards on top. Absolutely. So
also the like network requires staking to increase, so like it will be a win-win and win like for everyone involved if this works out.
Absolutely, Usanko. Yeah, we'll definitely work very hard, and the team is working very hard to make this happen. And we're very confident with the design. So, looking forward.
Like the idea seems really simple. Like you stake and get something and use it, but the like execution is really hard. Like good job again and in like accomplishing this much in Terra in such a short time. And hopefully we will see you do the same in Fantom.
Absolutely, Usanko. Thank you. Thanks for that confidence. We will.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add? Like I am starting to like look at the community questions again to see if we've missed anything. Let's start starting to wrap this up. Do you have anything to add? I forgot something to ask.
No, Sanko, I think we covered most key things, but I think what I wanted to just maybe reiterate is that this is going to be a great opportunity, and we want to create a token that will be kind of so closely related to Fantom, but enable all of you to get staking rewards on top, plus have very wide usability across the DeFi ecosystem, right? So you're talking to multiple protocols already, and you should see soon many partnerships being announced, and you'll be able to explore all DeFi possibilities, plus earn staking rewards on top, while helping secure Fantom and decentralize Fantom. So really waiting to kind of launch this project for the community. So that's kind of what I wanted to share.
I can't wait for it to spread like wildfire across like Texas, because like it is free like opportunity for them also to have like LP, or like as you said, like leveraged LP. Like it will be just like many of Fantom will hold this token one way or another if this, like as I said, goes like as planned, which I don't see why not. So like I can see sFTMx being a big player, like a replacement to Fantom, which will benefit Fantom as well.
Yes, absolutely, Usanko. That's the vision, and we want to make it happen. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for that summary.
Yeah. So like I've said a lot of great words, but everyone do your own research. This is a good like stuff, but I myself can't read contracts, so like even if I couldn't like validate it like being safe, like you can buy, go ape, or like stay away. You just have to do your own research, but like I have big trust. Like I don't know what else to say. Like do your own research, but yeah, like this will be a big thing in Fantom, I feel.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Usanko.
Okay, I'm wrapping this up then, if you don't have anything to add to the community.
Absolutely. No, thanks. Thanks a lot for hosting, Usanko, and thanks a lot, community, for all the questions. I'll also reply to all the questions offline. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys like look into Terra and Stader as a whole, and like see what it will bring to Fantom. Like I myself can't wait. Have a good night, good morning everyone, and hope to see you some other time.